the Bud List. It's also time we read some viewer mail, and we got tons of viewer mail, digital and physical.
Okay.
You know why?
I thought you were done with the letters.
I am, but I twisted it.
Okay.
YouTube comments.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because people were upset that you took a shot at friend of the show, Bucky Brooks, because he wrote a pretty normal article about players under pressure.
Yeah.
And you took offense and said he was like on your turf.
Yeah.
Well, the YouTube
I own the under pressure lane.
Okay, so here's what the YouTube comments said. And these are real. It's an undeniable fact that Brew invented the concept of, quote, athletes under pressure, just like Wilds invented the concept of defense wins championships. Once it was phrased like that, I understood it. But you know how the internet can get.
They're right.
Oh, it can be a cesspool of disagreements.
I think that's a supportive one.
It was.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Are there
For
more?
you, but not for me. Then someone fired back. Seriously, defense wins championship is a well-used quote by Bear Bryant from over 40 years ago. Well, news to me. And finally,
Elaine didn't get the spirit of the
what
comment.
What do you mean?
I'll just leave it at that. I'm just gonna leave it
The
alone.
spirit. It's meant to be taken
It
literally.
just dawned on me that you actually think you really invented that phrase.
Well, not just me. Let's go to Trollin Dungeon 525. No, Wilds.
Are we done? Can we get to
That's
the
YouTube comments. Subscribe to
Bud
YouTube
List?
if we need 150,000 people to subscribe. So get yourself a burner. We only need 75,000.
Here we go. Number 3 on this week's Bud List, Brandon Aiyuk.
Oh.
Brandon, I get it. I mean, it seems like week after week you have to look at some other wide receiver getting a huge payday.
True.
Justin Jefferson, $35 million a year. A.J. Brown, $32. Amon-Ra St. Brown, $30. Jalen Waddle, $28. And here you are, second team All-Pro last year, stuck at $14 million. All right? So I get why you're upset. And smartly, though, you understand that you don't have any leverage, that your trade request is kind of feckless. All right, because I heard you on the podcast say, I'll probably play for the Niners next year. So I like that, but the key is getting your mind right. It's not just enough to show up, be in uniform. You have to have your mind clear, be mentally and emotionally engaged 100%. So I'm going to help you do it because I'm about motivation and inspiration. Here's what you do to get right. Look at your quarterback. Look at your quarterback. Your quarterback was 4th in the league in MVP voting. Your quarterback is playing the most important position in the sport, and he is going to make $985,000 this year.
Maybe a little overpaid.
That's it. No, he's not overpaid. All right? And he is able to go out there and give it his all for less than $1 million. So, Brandon, look at that as inspiration and take your $14 million, which is still a nice chunk of money, and play your best, and you'll get the big payday next year from somebody. Yep. Brandon, I believe in you. At number 2, Justin Herbert. Justin, everyone's giving you the benefit of the doubt. Last year, you had your worst season of your 4-year career, and no one's blaming you. All right? They're blaming rightly Brandon Staley. I told y'all about him long ago. All right? They're blaming, all sorts of stuff instead of you. You still are ranked 6th on the QB rankings by executives and coaches around the league as the 6th best quarterback in the league. But here's the deal. Jim Harbaugh's coming in. Good news, but the days of them blaming others are over. If you don't get it done this year, I don't mean win the Super Bowl, but if you don't play well, maybe even get your team to the playoffs, then people will not blame your coach. They will blame you. They'll look at Harbaugh and say, man, he saved Alex Smith's career. Man, he made Colin Kaepernick a superstar. They are expecting him to work wonders with you, as am I. And if you don't work wonders, nobody's going to say, well, he lost his 2 best receivers. He lost his best running back, Austin Eckler. You depleted his weapons. They're just going to say, wow, Justin Herbert, after a wonderful start to his career, has fallen off a little bit. But I think you will play well. I think you and Harbaugh will mesh greatly. Justin, I believe in you. All right, at number 1, another quarterback, Jalen Hurts. A year ago, Jalen, you were the cat's meow. All the rage. Everyone's darling. And now, you didn't even make the top 10. You were behind a former Mr. Irrelevant in the rankings. All right? So you obviously didn't have a great year last year. Your calling card has been your leadership and your character and all that. But when the supernatural funk hit, you were unable to dig your team out of it. All right? So you have to come out. Your coach is going to be on the hot seat. You have to come out and have a great season. You got all the weapons you need. You added Saquon Barkley, who I think is going to have a Christian McCaffrey type impact on your team. So you have to go out and get it done, because if you don't, you might get a new coach, and people will really begin looking at you in Philadelphia, where you know the fans are harsh, kind of like a Carson Wentz type situation.
Gee whiz.
I'm just keeping it real, all right? But I believe in you, Jalen. I think you're going to go out there and get it done this year. So do your thing.
Excellent Bud list, as always, bro.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it honestly made me a little bit yearn for the days of a 5-person Bud list. However,
That was a lot.
well, you know, some people say less is more, and that I understand that in television. But then the person who says that, their Weird and Wonderful keeps getting longer and longer. So I'm not sure exactly how it works. But the fact of the matter is, one of the reasons we had to cut down the Bud list was because our show used to be, when we were in the mornings, 2 hours long. In fact, once upon a time it was 3 hours long. It was 2 hours long. And then we moved to the afternoons. It was 90 minutes long. So I have a bit of an announcement to make, which is going to put all of us under duress. Because our work day is getting 33% longer, which means Wilds, that's an extra 30 minutes, because starting Monday for Wilds and I, and starting whenever Brew gets back from whatever his next vacation is,
Maybe
then
33% more vacation.
Exactly, something
Don't
like
hate
that.
the player, hate the game.
Starting Monday, our show will be from 3 to 5 p.m. And I don't want to take any announcement from Speak, but you don't have to worry. You're not going to be getting less Speak. I can promise you that. I'll let them discuss that piece of it. People can probably figure out the math there to a degree. So that is a little under duress because we have more work, but we're not really the ones under duress because, as you know, this show has taken on a role, or I have in this segment, as kind of the sports media ombudsman.
Of course you are.
And with 30 more minutes a day, an extra 2.5 hours a week, it's a lot more opportunities to use that ombudsman hat, especially in football season when the takes come flying. We already saw it yesterday with some unintentional shrapnel at good friends and colleagues.
What was unintentional about it? You name-checked a guy and ripped apart his take.
Well, I guess when you put it that way, I guess not so unintentional, the shrapnel piece of it, but it doesns matter. The real sport of the story is starting Monday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern every day, Monday through Friday, here on FS1 will be first things first. So
the pressure's on us.
The pressure's on us, yeah, absolutely.
I believe in us.
Oh, good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that,
Thank
bro.
you. All right, well, back to the sports world. I'm going to put the Patriots on the Bud list. You might be like, why the Patriots?
Yeah,
well,
why?
for that reason exactly. Right next to Brandon Aiyuk, who wants to trade. Well, where could he go? I don't know. Who's got enough money? The Patriots do. We've got $43 million in cap space. Why? What are we doing with $43 million in cap space? Just holding it? Are we giving out Christmas bonuses? We've got the money. Can we get a wide receiver? Because there's 3 models on how you build a successful franchise, okay? Remember, copycat league.
Yeah.
Let's look at the Super Bowl. You got the Mahomes model, AKA the Brady model. You pay the quarterback a little bit less than even what perhaps he's worth. And then you can surround him with guys who aren't at the top of the market because the quarterback is so great. That works. The other model is the exact opposite. You go the Brock Purdy model, you pay him less than $1 million, but you surround him with the Avengers, as Nick likes to say, and then he can thrive because those guys are making money and you're not. And then you got the third way, which I call the Mac Jones model, where you don't pay the quarterback and you don't pay the weapons and it doesn't work. Carolina's trying the Mac Jones model. Guess what? It's not going to work. So can we please sign Brandon Aiyuk so you can support Drake May, who you're not paying, so you can pay Brandon Aiyuk? And then guess what you get? Not only do you get Brandon Aiyuk, who's a great wide receiver, all the other receivers all of a sudden get better because they're not being guarded by Jalen Ramsey. Brandon Aiyuk is being guarded by Jalen Ramsey. Here's the Josh's stat. Gosh darn it, it's not Josh's stat. 2023 season, these are our current wide receivers versus Brandon Aiyuk last year. This is 6 guys.
Wait, oh yeah.
It's 6 guys. Kendrick Bourne, granted, Jalen Polk's a rookie, so it's a little bit of funny math, but still, it's more than one guy. So can we just sign? This is not difficult. Are we trying this year or not?
No,
if we're trying,
you're not.
No.
Then what do you want me to do?
You yourself coined the phrase "the drive for 5." Does that sound like you're going for?
I am going to.
5
Well, I
wins?
coined defense wins championships, and the drive for 5 is on there. I might change it.
To what?
The drive for
500
or more.
Oh.
More than 5.
Look.
Start 500
Your
probably
logic
works.
is sound, Wild. Your
Yeah.
logic is sound. I don't want to do that to Aiyuk.
What? Be with a
Sending
winning
them to
organization?
He'd probably
not right
he'd
now.
probably enjoy being with a strong arm quarterback first time he's
I think he enjoys playing with Brock Purdy.
I was just
More on that later.
more
He
on
does.
that later.
He asked to leave the team.
Yeah.
Because they won't
Okay, then
pay him the money. It's not Purdy's fault.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.